Hey everybody, this is Kako here, and oh my god, I got this. I'm still in disbelief that this is an accomplishment I've done. So, I should probably get around to explaining what the hell I'm actually doing here. I mean, depending on why you clicked on this video, the title is either completely meaningful, or it's just word soup. So basically, this is a series of Flash games called Ninja Warrior that were released on Newgrounds between, I think, 2010 and 2014. The goal of this run is to complete all of the games back to back without messing any of them up. If I mess any of them up, I go back to the first stage of the first game. Simple as. And yeah, this was certainly a grind. If I had to guess, like, for the hour count, I'd say it was probably somewhere like 15 to 20. I don't know exactly how many, but somewhere around that seems right. And this grind got very interesting because I actually ended up basically shadow dropping it. Or, well, not shadow dropping it, but I was teasing at the fact that I was doing this. But nobody guessed what it was because the only people that would actually even know what the hell these games are, I already told that I was doing this. Which is the Sasuke Discord. If you're in there and you're watching this, hi! So, this is currently stage 2 of the first game. The first game is probably the easiest, if I had to guess. Like, it's between, like, it's definitely either this game or the fourth game. Because this game is, like, well, it's the first one, so, like, most of the time if you mess something up, it's just kind of jank. Like, the hardest obstacle in this game, and one of the hardest obstacles in the entire series to do consistently, is the jump hang in the first game. The first stage, not the first game. The jump hang in stage 1 is a massive pain, just because it's ridiculously precise. Like, you have to essentially hit the trampoline directly on the center of it. Otherwise, you're just completely done, though. Second stage used to be somewhat of a run killer, primarily because of the double salmon ladder, but once I found a strat for it, it got pretty consistent. Basically, for double salmon ladder, you just wanna walk like to the right of the bar and then grab it from there. Because if you're just doing it while if you're just doing it in the center, then it's not gonna be as easy to get the distance you need to make the transfer. And this is stage 3. Stage 3 is, funnily enough, probably the easiest one of the entire game to do consistently. By the end, I was like barely ever failing here, and if it was, I was just basically asleep at the wheel. Because, yeah, this is probably, like I said, this is probably the easiest game. I don't really have like a script for this or something, I'm just going off heart. So, now that we're at the more, like, self-explanatory portion of the game, I should probably get around to explaining why this grind means so much to me. Basically, these games were like my gateway drug and dart games. Without these games, this channel wouldn't exist, and there's a non-zero chance that I wouldn't be friends with a lot of people that I am today. Because if not for these games, I wouldn't be grinding the hell out of hard games like I do to this very day. So, even though these games, I'm just gonna be flat out with you, they're not the greatest things in the world. I wouldn't really recommend this challenge to most other people, but like, I still had my fun with this. This was just like a fun trip down memory lane. Like I said, I am in shock that I even got this far in the first place. I had the idea for this grind in my head for a very long time, and it just took me a while to actually get around to, like, you know, doing it. And, I'm already kind of running out of things to say. We're on the final stage. I should probably explain how these games even work. Basically, like, the rundown for these games is left to right to move your character, up to jump, down to regain stamina, space in order to grab onto objects. That's, like, the basic rundown. And each obstacle in each of the games has its own, like, solution, essentially. So it's a mix between a precision platformer and a puzzle platformer. Now, usually I'm not big on puzzle platformers, but this is, like, one of the few exceptions where I can actually tolerate it to some extent. Like I said, it's so hard to come up with things to say for this. I don't know. I flat out don't know, bro. I don't know. Now we're on game 2. Game 2, by the end of the grind, probably became the biggest run killer, just because it's, like, very inconsistent inherently. Like, notably in stage 3, there's 2 obstacles that are extremely easy to choke, and then the last 2 obstacles of the stage, which is very, 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 very fun, and totally not painful in the slightest. Now we head into, the jumping spider. This also comes... Every time I play this game in a VC with friends, I just end up, like... They end up pointing out how fast my fucking jumping spider mashing is. It's really funny. Because I'm just desensitized to it at this point, because, like, I'm the one mashing. You get used to how fast your own mash speed is at one point or another. That's just a natural fact of being good at mashing. So, now we're almost at the end of stage 1. I have choked a couple runs to the end of stage 1 in some stupid ways. Like, notably, the second to last obstacle of the stage, which is the Tarzan rope, which we're about to get up to. Yes, Tarzan rope. I choked this obstacle a couple times because, in this game, there is a very, 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 very fun mechanic where if... It's not a mechanic, it's just a byproduct of how the physics work. But, if you time an input late while you're swinging on a rope, like the first 3 games, you time an input late while you're swinging on a rope, basically all of your momentum just dies, even if it's like 1 frame late. And to get max momentum, you have to tap as late into the animation as possible. So you're basically just playing a game of... You're basically just walking a tightrope with how, like, late you should input the input. With how late you should input your right input. It's a very fun thing to have to deal with. The Tarzan rope is probably one of the more tame examples of it. It gets much worse in this game's jumping bars and the flying bar in W3, which is probably the hardest skill-based obstacle in the entire series. Now, why would I specify skill-based in a game like this? Well, sometimes this game just flat-out does not work. That's the best way to put it. I mean, these are Flash games made in the early 2010s. The coding isn't exactly going to be on point, and that should be expected. But, like... Yeah, there's some very questionable instances of it. Most notably, it comes down... Like, a lot of it comes down to how the game handles buffered inputs. Notably with, buffered space inputs. Because, like I said, space bar is the button you use to grab in this game. So, like, on this obstacle, if you buffer grab too early, like, because after you, like, grab the wall, you can let go and grab. But if you buffer grab too early, then sometimes you can just grab onto air, not be able to lift it, and then your one just dies. That's happened to me twice in runs before, and it's extremely funny, and very, totally doesn't piss me the fuck off. Now we're on to W2 Stage 3. A lot of this stage just comes down to trying to get you to waste your stamina. There's a glitch you can do here on the slide chain where if you drop off early, it'll basically just give you give you full stamina. And stamina is useful in these games because it affects how fast your run speed is, and it also if you run out of stamina, then you just let go of objects. So the third stage especially is a very important resource to keep track of. And in the third stage in all of the games, and in the second stage in 2 and 3, you have a limited amount of stamina you can regain after each obstacle. That's dependent on how much stamina you have when you get to the rest platform. That's why the slide chain glitch where you get infinite stamina is even a thing. Or not infinite stamina, max stamina. You do not get infinite stamina from that. But, like, yeah. The stamina feature is very important in this game. Wait till you find out about Grandmaster where in NW4 where you literally can't even see your stamina. But that's a story for another day. But we're not gonna get into that right now. We're not gonna get into that. And we're already on the back half of stage 3 in NW2. This ride both feels like it's this feels like it's both a much longer and a much shorter challenge than it is. Like you wouldn't like. It somehow feels like it's both an hour long and like 10 minutes. It's so funny. Part of that probably comes down to the fact that the first stage in each of the games is it's not even like longer than like a minute and a half. Like much longer than a minute and a half. None of them even crack 2 minutes. The stage 3s are the ones where it gets hard. Speaking of stage 3, this obstacle, the flying bar, is coded like complete garbage. Because for some godforsaken reason, you have to buffer space in order to get off the flying bar, but sometimes you buffer space and you just die. You literally do it right, you can check the input display, it doesn't work. It's the weirdest thing ever that's killed me so many times in runs. It's one of the single most tilting things I have to deal with in the entire run. I hate that so much. It's just a complete nightmare to deal with. That's like genuinely my biggest gripe with the entire grind. To the point where it literally made like stage 3 like the run decider. Stage 3 and also stage 1 in NW3 for a reason that I'll get into later. But yeah, these games are not coded very well. Well, now that we're on one of the like filler parts, because the final stage of each of these games is basically filler anyway, if you know what you're doing. I think I should probably also get more in depth about how like these games just like, I said this before, but these games like, they shaped me in a way. This, like I said, was my gateway drug into hard video games. If it wasn't for these games, non-zero chance that this channel would not exist at all. Like, just flat out would not be a thing. Like, I wouldn't be playing Celeste, I wouldn't be playing Mega Man No Hit. All those things that might not exist if these games didn't exist. That's kind of an insane thing to say, but I didn't know. It just feels right. Like, without these games, what would I be doing right now? I mean, I'd obviously still be playing games. Like, would I care this much about the card games? Would I even meet a lot of the people that end up watching this channel? Like, would I meet the person that inspired me to do, not only, like, would I meet the person that, like, birthed this style of content in general? Like, would I even be doing this if I didn't meet Pluto? Like, would I even meet Pluto if it wasn't for this? Because Pluto was the one who gave me the idea to actually, do these commentaries in the first place. And, I might not have met her if it wasn't for me playing hard games and, like, taking an interest in Kaizo. Like, I might not have taken that interest in Kaizo if it wasn't for these games. Because these are basically just baby's first Kaizo puzzle platformer. Right, now we're on to the end of stage 1. The rope glider here is pretty annoying because it's very easy to overshoot. I got lucky here and I didn't end up overshooting it, which is much appreciated. It's very nice to not have to worry about overshooting it because sometimes if you have too much stamina, like the strat I was doing before, or like the amount of stamina I was going into it with before, I would like regularly overshoot it. Like I had it happen twice in attempts, and it was very annoying to have to deal with. So you just have to shoot, like you have to rest for a shorter period of time. If you just rest for a shorter period of time, then you get less distance on the bounce. And now we're on to game 3, stage 2. This is another run killer, mostly because of this obstacle right here, the double sandwich ladder. I don't know if it actually has the same problem as the flying bar in NW3, but it sure feels like it does, where sometimes your input just doesn't go to the, like, your input just will not work even if you buffer it. I don't know if it's like a proven thing in this game, like it is in NW2, but it's still very, very, very annoying things to have to deal with. That killed me on an attempt once, that, if it's not working. And here we have the broken tank, which is another one killer. I go on it backwards. This looks like it's a swag strat. It's not. It literally, like, I've had moments where I just run over the broken tank because I did, like, you're just running straight at it and then you just don't trigger the obstacle. You just run straight over it and you die. Very, 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 very funny thing to have to deal with. Totally not mad about it. And we're now approaching the hardest stage in the entire grind, which is NW3 stage 3. This stage just incites fear into people like none of the other stages in any of the other games do. This has the reputation of being like ungodly hard. And I'm here to say that, yeah, it's pretty hard, but there is one caveat, and that is extremely consistent. Like, it has like the highest like difficulty to consistency ratio in the entire game, where it's like basically 1-to-1. This obstacle right here, the peg grasper. Everybody and their dog seems to have this as their mortal enemy. But, as long as you just press left and right every time his hand goes over the peg, you should be fine. And now we're almost on to the back half of stage 2, which is where things really start picking up. The Neo cliffhanger, all the cliffhangers in these games are like surprisingly not that bad. They're not like super annoying to have to deal with. They're fine for the most part. It's fine, bro. It's fine. The jumps aren't even really that tight. You can like swing for as long as you need, and you auto gain momentum in the first 3 games. In the 4th game, you have to swing for yourself. There's visual cues for how many swings you need to even actually grab the ledge. So it's fine. It's fine, bro. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And now here we are on to what is probably the hardest obstacle of the entire series, NW3 flying bar. There's nothing to this obstacle other than it's just extremely tight. You have to time the jump as late into the animation as possible, but don't time it too late or else you'll get 0 momentum. And the weird part is that, like, when you have max momentum, it looks like you shouldn't have momentum at all. Like, it looks like your momentum should be on the out, but it's not. That's when your momentum is at its max, and it looks like it's when it's about to start faltering. And now we have the unstable bridge, which is another obstacle a lot of people find hard, but in my experience, it's not super bad. That last bridge gave me a heart attack. Just time it when it's in the red region and when your legs are going forward, and it should turn out okay. And we're almost at the end of stage 3. Bar glider actually killed me the attempt before, or like not the attempt before, but the like prior attempts. Basically, what happened was, the game like dropped one of my. I don't know if it dropped the input or if I just timed it like a frame late or something, but on this obstacle you have to press forward to gain momentum and then up to jump. I had like next to no stamina. I could have barely made it, but I tapped jump and the input didn't go through, so I ran out of stamina while I was at max momentum, and that killed the attempt. And now we're at the NW3 final stage, which is now I should probably get around to explaining NW4, because this is the last stage on the original physics system. Because for NW4, the physics are entirely different. And NW4 is like also extremely NW4 is also extremely nostalgic for me, because beating stage 3 in NW4 on the easiest difficulty was like, that was literally the first notably hard thing I did in a video game. That was like the first thing to actually get me to pop off. I think I was like 7 or 8 at the time, probably. Like, I remember popping off so hard about that I told my parents about it. I was that proud of that accomplishment. And now that's just a complete piss poke. I did the harder difficulty of that. It's just now starting to sink in that I did this while I'm recording the commentary. Literally, my first hard game accomplishment was doing the 3rd stage of this game on easy mode. And now I did it on normal mode after doing 20 minutes of stuff that's objectively harder in every way. What the hell? I'm goated. Oh my god. I feel like I'm about to cry, dude. I am kind of about to cry for like other reasons, but let's not get into that. So yeah, NW4, most recent game of the series, and as you can probably tell, behaves entirely differently from the rest of the games. Because the physics are entirely different. They're much more fluid than the other games, where in 1 through 3 you could definitely tell there was like a rigidness in the physics where you could only move in very specific ways. Whereas in these games, it's pretty freeform. Yeah, I'm just now noticing that we're at like the last song of the commentary, and I haven't really gone over much. Like, I feel like trying to go over all of the stuff that makes this grind so hard is a fool's errand. Because, like, I don't even know. So I feel like it's just best to, like, go over why this grind means so much to me. Like, this is basically the end of my, like, childhood. This is the end of the series that got me into grinds in the first place. Literally, if it was not for this series, this channel would not exist. And I would say this video wouldn't exist, but that's a given because this video is on this game. I could ramble for hours about how these games work. They're like inner workings, all the stuff that like makes them so special to me. But I really don't think this is like the best way of going about that. I mean, I only have like 20 or so minutes to do something like that. So it's probably just a better idea to like not. And just go over why this grind is so sentimental to me. I am just going to be flat out. This might be my last grind ever. There's some stuff happening. I'm not going to get into what. I'm not gonna get into what, but just be warned. This is the last time you might see my ass. My close friends know. I don't want to get into it because it's personal, but like it's sad because this is the thing that like reignited me to like want to grind other stuff, but it might be my last grind ever. But honestly, if this was to be my last grind, I would be completely fine with it because this is just such a poetic way to end my career, honestly. Not a very storied career. I haven't got any like super like amazing accomplishments. This is probably my biggest accomplishment in a game. I'm just gonna be flat out with you. I don't know what else it would be, really. It's such a weird thing. It's such an unbelievably weird thing to be sitting here and like commentating like the games that got you into hard games. And having that be, like, what might be the last video on your entire channel. It might not be, but there's a non-zero chance that it is. What the fuck? Oh my god. That's so poetic. That's so unbelievably poetic. I can't get over that. I know I sound like a broken record, but, like... these games shaped me. Honest to God. These games shaped these games, like, if it was not for these games, cacophony might not exist. Like, obviously, the real-life person behind the username would. I'm not saying without these games I wouldn't be alive right now, but I am saying that without these games I wouldn't be who I am today. Not in the slightest at all. Like, these games are fundamentally responsible for who cacophony is. Be it dumb nerd on the internet. Be it my only other defining trait is like being good at video games, I feel like. Just being a nerd and being good at video games. And this is the series that got me into being good at video games. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. I think I'm just gonna let the rest of this play out at this point. I don't have anything else to say. See you on the flip side, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See ya, maybe? I don't even know. We're this close. Double swing, pipe slider, final stage. Please. Let's go! Holy fucking shit, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, dude. There's no way. There's actually no way. Final stage of NW4. I fucking did it, dude. I fucking did it. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, dude. There's no way. There's actually no way. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Fucking died. 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 Oh my god.